Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodeau, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
Hello and welcome back to the show again as we cover the aftermath of Hurricane Francine. And one of those things that we've been doing is we've been talking to different people. Sorry, I didn't mention that I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care, and thank you for joining us. And so we appreciate you doing that. We're always very glad to get in some of the experts who have been telling us how we should be handling our safety in our home. Best place to do that is with Chief Bryan Adams. Chief, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, good afternoon, Keith. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Of course, Louisiana State Fire Marshal, we're always very glad for your expertise. You kind of mentioned you've been doing this for 40 years, right?
Yes, sir. I'm in my 43rd year. That's correct.
Very good. Well, we appreciate your time as always. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that I know you guys are always trying to stress for people before a storm like this comes in.
Yeah, so one of the things we've found, the stats tell us, Keith, is that the fatalities or the deaths after the hurricane or after the storm passes are way higher than what happens during the storm now. And a lot of that's attributed to what's happening with the use of portable generators. So we've really been trying to push the message out to convince people to listen and heed the warnings that we give them when use with portable generators. You know, we tell them never to place a generator or a portable generator inside of any structure, including your home, your garages, or those kind of things. Never place them near or to openings or near the doors or the windows, just because of carbon monoxide. And also to never refuel those generators hot. Let them cool off before you fuel them. Give it enough time to cool down before you put that fuel in to make sure that you don't start a fire, as well as the carbon monoxide issues.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things. We've talked to several of our people in the area, several of the chiefs in the area. We get a phone call, or they get phone calls, if you will, and get called out on almost every storm. And
yes,
so
absolutely.
It's somebody who's not really listening to what you guys are saying. And we're going to keep saying it. We're going to keep saying it until we get people to really follow the direction. But carbon monoxide poisoning is nothing to play with.
No, it's known as a silent killer. It'll creep up on you. You won't know it's coming. You'll fall into a deep sleep, and then you'll pass away. So it's absolutely dangerous.
Yeah, those exhaust fumes are really important to make sure that you're careful. I mean, heck, we're a big football place down here. Game day, when you got people out there, there are very specific and strategic rules for what you can do with generators. We need to be more safe than that at home.
Yeah, we do. And just people relaxing and not realizing what the causes can be from the carbon monoxide or just serious. It really needs to be, as you said, we need to keep driving at home, and we're going to continue driving at home. And I'll tell you, we did something today. So the group of first responders that we assembled here in Baton Rouge to assist with the storm, fortunately, we didn't have any emergency operation type issues during the night. So our guys wanted to get out and wanted to do some work. So we taxed them with something this afternoon. We had on hand several hundred, maybe even close to 1,000 warning signs that we have sent out to several of the parishes in the area that were most impacted by the storm, where we know people lost power. We sent those signs out to all our first responders. We're going to put them at fire stations. We're going to put them in front of town halls, any public building we can find. And we also were fortunate to have on hand about 2,700 CO2 detectors that we also sent out to those fire stations for those local fire departments to get those detectors out to those families who are using those portable generators at their homes.
You know, it's really interesting. I love the fact that you guys said, "Hey, we're bored. Let's go do something." Right?
Yeah, man. That's what we do, huh? We need something to do. We're ready to go do something. So
right.
If
it's not an emergency, you guys have got to go and make sure that we're keeping people safe. You know, it's really, really interesting to me. I would assume that a large percentage of the people that are not really always following the rules or the guidelines for what they need to do with generator safety probably don't have carbon monoxide detectors.
They probably don't. Listen, it's an unfortunate situation, and even in our state, with smoke detectors and smoke alarms, it's the same situation. We estimate that probably 60% of the homes in Louisiana don't have smoke detectors in them, and we attribute most of the fatalities that we have in fires because there were no smoke alarms and no early detection devices within a home when a home catches on fire.
Yeah, it's one of those things where early on when we didn't have that, your pet was the only person or only one in the room that could, or in the house that could help you. Now we've got so many options. We've got these smoke detectors, the carbon monoxide detectors. Heck, some of them are both in one. And we can use that, and people just need to be aware of the importance of that. And here again is another good example. When you're starting to do something new, you get a new generator, get a carbon monoxide detector, and make sure that we follow the guidelines and rules. Well, we sent those out here in our area, one of the most affected areas from the storm, and still we've had some of those people with issues with not putting that generator where it needed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when you buy the generator, you can buy the CO2 detector at the same store, the same location that you're buying the generator. They sell the CO2 detectors as well. Look, they're a little costly, but you know what? You can't put a price on someone's life, right?
No, you really can't. Chief, we got about a minute left. Is there anything you want to share as the fire marshal here, the state fire marshal, that you just want to let people know, business owners, homeowners, something that you want to let us know what we can do to kind of be safe and never have to call you in?
Yeah, look, be smart about what you do. Get your smoke alarms, get your CO2 detectors. And look, I know a lot of businesses in that region where you all are broadcasting from have been impacted by the storm. I want you to know that the fire marshal's office is going to be there for you. We're going to make sure that you get up and running with your business as quick as we can approve you to get back open. That's what we committed to the fire service across the state, and we commit that to all the citizens across Louisiana.
Yeah, well, Chief, we really appreciate it. Again, Chief Bryan Adams, our Louisiana State Fire Marshal. We thank you for your time. We thank you for your commitment and certainly your promise to make sure that you're there to do whatever it is that we're needed. We thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Be safe. And again, we thank him again, Chief Bryan Adams, Louisiana State Fire Marshal. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more Bayou time and our HTV when we continue.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.